Now that we've had Void 3.0 for about a month, it's time for me to share 3 PvE builds, one for each class that I've been using in casual content. Originally, I put these builds together for Gambit specifically, but I found myself also using them in Wellspring, Dares of Eternity, Exploring the Throne World. If you're watching this video when it comes out, there is double Gambit rep this week, however, the current state of Gambit is kinda rough. But that's a topic for another video, which I plan on making after playing more Gambit because I hate myself or something like that. For all 3 of these builds, I will link the dim loadouts in the description. Enough chit chat, let's dive into the builds starting with Hunter. For the exotic armor piece in this build, you have 2 options, Starrier Scales or Orpheus Rigs, with the option of switching between the 2 pieces once you get your super if that's something you're willing to do. Your stat distribution really only needs to have tier 5 intellect and as much mobility as you can get. The other stats can be whatever you want. For mods, you're going to need Harmonic Siphon, Font of Might, Volatile Flow, Reaping Wellmaker, Font of Wisdom, and Elemental Time Dilation, with Font of Wisdom and Elemental Time Dilation being optional and can be swapped for something else if you want. For weapons, really any void weapon will work, but Wave Splitter is the option I went with, and it's the one I had the most fun with. Other options I had fun using were Dead Messenger, Traveler's Chosen if you have the Catalyst for that Osmosis, Deafening Whisper, and of course Funnel Web is never a bad option. Your kinetic and heavy weapons are free to be whatever your little heart desires. As for the subclass options, I went with Mobius Quiver, Gambler's Dodge, Triple Jump, and Vortex Grenade. These are completely swappable to fit your playstyle. My aspects of choice are Trapper's Ambush and Stylus Executioner, and my fragments of choice are Echo of Undermining, Echo of Reprisal, and Echo of Starvation. The combat loop for this build starts with using your dodge to proc Reaping Wellmaker, which creates a Void Elemental Well on your next weapon final blow after using your class ability. Picking up that Void Well will proc Font of Might for bonus Void weapon damage, Volatile Flow to give your Void weapons volatile rounds, and Font of Wisdom which will give you a bonus 50 intellect for 30 seconds. I like to use Elemental Time Dilation to increase the timers on Font of Might, Volatile Flow, and Font of Wisdom. This mod is nice to have, but by no means necessary to use. Once you get these buffs going to your Void weapon, go to town killing ads. With Harmonic Siphon, you'll be getting Orbs of Power on multi-kills, which is why I chose to go with Wave Splitter, which will get an increase in damage after picking up an orb. And if you choose to go with Starrier Scales, you also get bonus super energy from those orbs, on top of getting Devour from picking up an orb if you're running Echo of Starvation. Once you have a full super, you can swap to Orpheus Rigs if you want. I will say that in Gambit, I did run into ammo issues with special weapons, especially Wave Splitter, but like I said earlier, really any void weapon will get the job done, regardless of whether it's a primary or special weapon. I had more success and more fun with this build in Wellspring than I did in Gambit, but that was completely due to the fact that I kept running into ammo issues. Out of the 3 builds in this video, the Hunter one is definitely the weakest for Gambit in my opinion, but that's more due to Gambit itself than the build. Next on the menu is Warlock. The exotic armor I use is Nezarec Sin, but Verity's Brow and Controverse Hold are both strong options too. Verity's Brow is probably the best option, but I like Nezarec Sin more for fashion purposes, which we all know fashion is the true endgame of Destiny. The mods we are going to be using are Elemental Ordnance, Font of Might, Volatile Flow, Elemental Time Dilation, and Seeking Wells. Time Dilation and Seeking Wells can be swapped for Explosive Wellmaker and Well of Ordnance if you'd like, but I found that it was overkill for grenade ability regen. Similar to the Hunter build, any void weapon will work. The one I chose to go with was a Funnel Web with Adrenaline Junkie for that bonus damage on grenade kills. The Every Waking Moment SMG from the Moon can roll with Subsistence and Adrenaline Junkie, and it's farmable if RNG refuses to give you a good Funnel Web. For my subclass options, I went with Cataclysm because that's the super I like the most on Warlock. Healing Rift, Burst Glide, and Vortex Grenade, but feel free to change these to suit you. My aspects are Chaos Accelerant and Feed the Void. What more is there to say other than getting better grenades and getting Devour? The fragments are Echo of Remnants, Echo of Expulsion, and Echo of Undermining, all to buff your grenades for longer duration, explosions on grenade kills, and weakening from the grenade for those stronger enemies. Echo of Reprisal is also another option if you like. After this season ends and we lose Volatile Flow from the seasonal artifact, Echo of Instability will be able to do the same thing, just not as efficiently. With this build, you start with tossing a grenade into a group of ads. Once the grenade kills one of them, you'll get a void well thanks to elemental ordnance. I chose to use seeking wells so that the wells came to me instead of me having to go run around and pick them up. Same thing as the hunter build, picking up a well will proc Font of Might and Volatile Flow combined with the bonus damage from Adrenaline Junkie. You'll be mowing through ads like it's nothing. If you have the mod space, you can slot in Harmonic Siphon because making orbs of power is never really a bad thing. It's a pretty simple loop. Throw grenades, get a void well, go to town on the ads, and then rinse and repeat. Last but not least is the Titan. Personally, this is my favorite build because of the power fantasy that it allows. The exotic that drives this build is Doomfang Pauldron. Void melee kills give super energy, and this one is going to be a punchy boy build. The mods that we're going to use are Hands-On, Momentum Transfer, Melee Wellmaker, Well of Tenacity, Font of Wisdom, Elemental Charge, and Heavy Handed. This build revolves around melees and doesn't require any specific weapons to function. However, I do like to bring a 1-2 punch shotgun to help take down those beefier targets. I prefer to run Bubble, but you can totally use Sentinel Shield if you like. For the melee, I chose to go with Shield Bash because I found it to be a more consistent experience over using Shield Throw. The rest of the base subclass, the Jump, the Barricade, and Grenade are all up to you. The aspects I use are Offensive Bulwark for the increased melee range and damage when you have an overshield, Controlled Demolition for both the booms and getting health when volatile enemies explode. The fragments are Echo of Persistence for the longer overshield, Echo of Explosion for more booms, Echo of Leeching because you'll be getting a lot of melee kills for that health regen kickstart, and the Echo of Reprisal for super energy when you're surrounded, which due to the melee focus of this build, you'll be in the thick of it a lot. You start this loop by charging in and using your melee to proc Melee Wellmaker and get an overshield. Picking up the Void Well will proc Font of Wisdom and Well of Tenacity for bonus intellect and resistance. Elemental Charge will give you 2 stacks of charge with light because you're picking up a well that matches your subclass. Once you have your overshield, just spam that melee on anything and everything that's nearby. All the melee kills will be giving you lots of super energy from Font of Wisdom, Hands-On, Echo Reprisal, and Doomfang. With Momentum Transfer, you can use your grenade to get some melee energy back. Once you get your melee back and you use it when you're charged with light, you'll get a chunk of melee energy back from Heavy Handed, allowing for more shield bashes to keep the loop going. This build will give you your super so fast if you're using Ward of Dawn due to the super low cooldown. In Wellspring, I was able to get 8 supers, 3 of which were from rally banners, but still, 5 is a lot. In Gambit, at best I can get my bubble off the first wave, and at worst I usually get it off the second wave. And those are the builds. If you made it to this point in the video, I appreciate you. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and if you're feeling super generous today, go ahead and subscribe. It would make my day. As much as I'd like to pump out more content, I do go to school full time, so I don't always have as much time as I'd like, but I'm gonna try my best to put out more videos consistently. I hope y'all have a great day, and I wish you the best of luck farming for God rolls.